So we're live here,
Let's go.
live there,
Let's go.
about to go. Now we live.
Live in
There we
three
go.
places.
But
Let's
all
get
that
this
stuff
mug.
is hiding. Anyways, welcome in everybody. Welcome to Just Like Us.
Yes.
Justin and Letty.
Yes. Excuse me, guys.
Hello,
Yes, my name is
everyone.
Justin. Welcome in, you guys. Let me get hyped here. Let me get in the mode, in the mood, because guess what? Today's a new day. Excited to be here with you guys. Thank you for showing up. You could be anywhere in the world, but you guys are here with us, whether you're seeing it after the fact, right now, live. Thank you guys for being a part of this. We're growing, y'all. We are growing, and we're really proud
It's
to
all
say,
because of you.
that being consistent is paying off. We're showing up, we're showing out, and it's paying off. Paying off meaning we're getting more followers, we're getting more people to join, and that's what it's about, making impact. So right now we've got 3 screens going, and we're making it happen. You know what I mean? We're showing up. That's what matters. So again, if you're in here and you're live with us, chime in, say what you know what I mean. Say if you got any questions, if you got any comments or concerns, anything. Be on here, be a part of this, and let's do this together because we're all in this together, right?
Yes.
So again, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what are we talking about today?
Okay,
Justin?
so today
I'm curious.
Okay, so give me today's a good one, y'all.
All right, I'll
we're
tell
talking
you.
about feelings,
Facts,
messengers,
messengers,
or
something
something more.
else.
Yeah.
Oh, else.
And
more,
so,
anyway.
and this is really, I think this is going to be a good topic
Yeah.
because feelings, just because we have our feelings doesn't mean that they're always right. Okay. I mean, it doesn't mean they're wrong. And I'm not saying factual stuff. I'm saying stuff for me because sometimes I'll have, an emotional swing or something that makes me feel a certain kind of way. And it's not always the right way or the right thing. Hey, this could be controversial because I don't want to get me. I'm not trying to say, this is just my opinion. This is just how I feel. This is just what I'm going
Our
through.
Experience.
Yeah. And so, there's a lot, feelings are real, but doesn't mean they're facts. You know what I mean? Let's just be bold. Let's be honest. Let's be real. I mean, feelings are feelings. It doesn't mean they're facts. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? So,
true.
okay. So,
very true.
Yeah.
I think often, right, when feelings are involved, I know for myself growing up, I was told, just get over it, or stop being so sensitive, but what if our feelings are not the problem? What if they're actually trying to help us?
Ooh,
and that's
like
what we
that.
want to talk about, right?
Ooh, I like
How
that.
are they trying to help us?
Yes. They could be a guide, but don't let them be your master, right? I mean, let's just be real. Your feelings, okay, there's times where I've let my emotions or my feelings overtake my conscious and the reality of things, how I should deal with stuff. I'll get mad or angry. And one thing I'm teaching Justin Jr. is if somebody gets you upset, that can definitely throw you off if you're trying to do something and you're playing a game. If you're doing something and you're in competition, somebody gets you upset, they know how to throw you off your game. It can mean the fact that you either win or lose. And I said it in a different way to him. It was a couple weeks ago, and I was explaining to him how showing people when you get upset can be a negative because now these people know how to throw you off your game. And so in so many ways, and I'm not saying that bad way. I was just trying to teach them sometimes you can harness that, and it's a power to not always show people outright how you're feeling or what you're thinking. It's you know what I mean, just talking out of just off the cuff, I feel this certain kind of way. It can be detrimental. It can. I know.
Depends on who you're around.
I'm just saying. I grew up in an apartment where I was at in town. Like you pop off to me, I'm gonna pop. I'm gonna get with you. That's just how I was, and I'm not proud of it. I'm just saying that's just how I was. I grew up, and I was not necessarily a fighter, but I'll fight. And so I'm getting the wrong place with the wrong kind of people. I'm not waiting. I'll be the first one to take off. And so for me, fighting was like an everyday life, an everyday kind of thing for me. It was. So
wasn't for me.
No,
just with myself,
right?
Well, like maybe some of my siblings, but
yeah, okay.
Not too much in the neighborhood for me, right? I really kept to myself, and I had a lot of big feelings even as a little kid, and feelings are ways that we experience our emotions. Emotions are automatic responses from our brain, right? They come from I hope I'm saying this right. Oh my God. Anyways,
Amygdala.
that word.
The amygdala.
You know,
The amygdala.
which is our it's
amygdala.
our internal
Sorry,
smoke
guys.
alarm,
It's
right?
the amygdala.
Amygdala. Thank
Yes.
you. That's the word I was
Thank you,
trying
God,
to
for
say.
giving me the
One more
ability to
time.
say it. Amygdala.
Say it with me, everybody.
Amygdala. Amygdala.
And
Hi, Jesse.
feelings. Hi. Where?
Jesse
Jesse, what
Hendrick
up,
is in the
though,
building.
Jesse?
What's happening with you,
Love
man?
you.
Let's go.
So,
baby.
feelings happen after. Oh, now you just
My bad.
Anyways, nope. Scroll. Nope.
That's all the way up.
No.
My
Down.
bad.
Down.
We're getting our stuff together.
That's all right. Like,
yeah, we pivot to
you
get
know,
it. Whether or not you about to
it
rip
is
it, I'm
what
about to
it
come get it
is.
now because you down with going to get it.
anyways.
Okay, back to the script.
So back
to the
script.
schedule.
We're gonna get this. Feelings happen after the emotion, and that does not even make sense.
Listen here, y'all.
Anyways,
we're gonna just go off the top because you know
Yeah.
what, that's how it comes out best.
It
anyways,
does.
You know what I mean?
Trying this whole
Again,
script
like I was
thing.
saying, the feelings
Nah.
for me, I haven't always been one to play on my feelings because
Mm.
that can get me in a lot of trouble. Because if I'm feeling a certain way, or if I react to somebody or something, then you know what? Sometimes I need to just take a step back and not go off my feelings
not
because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Some people can make me feel a certain way and throw me off my game, and that's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's real.
No,
It's
it
like
is.
literally,
Yeah.
if you're playing in the game, somebody says the wrong thing to you. Why do you think there's so many people in sports that they mock their opponents because they know it's a way to throw
Trying to
people
get
off their
in their
game?
head.
Yeah. What's up, Courtney? How you doing? Courtney Bell's in the building.
Courtney.
I don't think I got
Love
anybody
him.
on my live
That's
yet.
okay. Yeah.
Courtney Bell
But
and
they're
Jesse
coming.
Hedrick. Let's go.
Yes.
Hey, we got some hearts going on over here. So we're
That's
going
right.
on 3 different pages here, y'all.
Oh Jesus.
We're
Anyways,
making it happen though. You know what I mean?
it is what it is, right?
But you
all
want to make sure
good.
we get all the comments here because again, go ahead.
Oh, I was just no. Go ahead. I was gonna say, feelings and nothing more than feelings. Can really, especially your past, right? If you've had an experience from the past and then something happens that is similar to something that happened in the past, man, you can go from 0 to like
60.
scared, pissed,
Afraid.
afraid.
Upset,
I
mad.
said that already. Yeah. Based on right what happened to you in the past. And so I think when our feelings come up, it's a good thing to just not always react. And y'all, I'm working on it.
She's working on it. She's been working on it for several years.
If you're working
but
on
she's-
it,
say you're working on it. Okay.
Because I'm working on it. I'm better.
She's better
Right?
than ever.
I'm learning
nevertheless.
to, not react or respond, but just give myself a moment to say,
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm feeling this and I have felt this before. Where has this happened before? Is it happening right now? Oh my God, where am I feeling this in my body? And do I have to give a response or a reaction right now? No, I can sit with it, but I think it can be dangerous to sit with it for too long.
Right, yeah.
Right?
No, fester, if you will. Let it fester. Like Uncle Fester. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it fester. You know what I mean? That's how, look, we had the discussion in one of the podcasts a few podcasts ago. And my friend Renee, she had said, you know, how do you feel about it and about your emotions at times? And do you like to go off and think about it first? And I said, well, me personally, I like to deal with it right then and there. I don't want to go and take time because, but also if you deal with it right there, you have the potential to kind of, instead of going away and thinking about it, there's a potential that you can fire off and just, go from the top and not having time to think about it for some is very helpful. But for me, I think I'm calm enough at times, depending on the situation, you know what I mean? But most of the time I'm calm enough now, especially if I'm age 42, that I'm calm enough and that I don't react. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't necessarily react to certain things, that I can take a step back, process it, and then address it as it's coming, instead of having to go away and like, fearful of like, reacting or feeling a certain kind of way. I can take a breath, or I can, take a step back and be like, okay, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm conscious enough and mature enough to do that now. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, and it depends on who I'm around, right? I mean, I find for myself that like those closest to me right here, especially at home, I could get triggered real quick, right? And I am working on not being so reactive, right? But they know how to push your buttons. When I'm out there, it's for me, it's really good practice. I just need to do a little bit better practicing here at home. I don't know. How would you say that? What would you rate me on a scale of, and be nice? Don't judge me.
Don't be honest. No.
No.
No, y'all don't. Okay, so
No,
ask a
okay.
question. Go ahead.
I
Ask a question.
asked,
Ask a
so
question.
I am expecting
Okay, ask the full
some
question
honesty.
so I know exactly what you're asking me.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate
you
my reactivity or my response to you?
So being nice or being real? What do you
Being
guys? What do
real.
you guys
I
want?
want
Do you guys want the truth
I want
or
the,
my opinion?
I want the truth because I
But
can
it's not really
handle
the truth. It's just my opinion. Like
That's
you know what I mean?
true, too.
So it's not really the truth. It's
That's
my
true,
opinion.
too.
But my opinion it tends to be my truth.
your truth, right?
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Let's
So
just
okay.
make that clear.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, what 1 being the least and 10 being the most, reactive wise, like what are you saying? Wait, restructure it.
Okay, maybe I'm not asking it right.
No, you will. I just got to make sure I'm getting it right.
A 1 out of 10. How would you say? Yeah, which I'm also working
communication.
on.
Like once I know exactly what she's
You know?
looking for me for here, then I can give a direct answer and be like specific, right? So go
Okay,
ahead.
So on a scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Help me out, y'all. What
No,
am I
1 to 10.
asking?
Go ahead.
No,
You got this.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate? How would you rate the way I communicate to you? Am I more reactive, or do I respond instead of react? What would you say?
I think that
Take
you're
it all in.
a high reactive person. A very high reactive person. I would say a little legit. Okay, not being over exaggerative. Probably you react 8 times out of 10.
You think? Really?
No, really. Like okay, 7 to be modest, but 8 to be realistic. Like 8 out of 10 times, I find that it's a reaction. You know what I mean? It's a reaction to what, like you just said too, to the people. You guys heard it. A lot of times it depends on who she's around.
All right.
So that being said, if she's at wherever she goes during her classes, I can't say, can I?
No.
Okay. Well, she goes to you know what I mean, to fulfill her needs, so to speak, and to be able to be heard. She goes to a certain place and she's able to be heard and felt. And so here's how I feel. When you're around certain crowds, they're probably getting the more I would say not better side, but probably the more calm, more the productive, probably more the positive sides, because you're not in the element that you may have here, or like the same 4 walls that you're looking at constantly, or the memories of the past. And so it's easy to react to me being the person that I'm gonna put up with I'm gonna put up with it. I'm still gonna love you.
Too.
I'm still gonna love you. You know what I mean? So, and again, I'm not. This isn't facts. This is just observation. That there's potentially that even myself, when I'm outside or out in public or out around wherever I'm having a good time, wherever I feel most valued, and I may be giving these people the best side of me or the better side of me. Well, that one might say is the better side of me because I want people to see the best me first, right? So I'm gonna put the best foot I have first. So I want people to see me for the best part of me that I can, as opposed to me coming home knowing that lady's gonna deal with my crap. And that she's gonna put up with me for real, and that I can do that because she's still gonna love me. So what I'm saying is, it's in a sense for me, it's easier to do your dishes because I want you to feel comfortable with me being at your house than it is to do mine when I know if they can sit there, I'm not gonna be upset. So what I mean by that is, it's a way for me to, I guess. I know I have a point here, and my point is this, okay? Often when I'm around people or in places that I enjoy, or that I'm happy, you're not gonna see me throwing any kind of grumpiness or upsetness. So when I come home and for whatever reason, like I know Letty's, she loves me no matter what. Why is it as people do we think that it's it's okay to be around our loved ones and they get the raw end, they get the harshness, they get the ones that why, if I'm able to kind of put on this face out here that I'm excited or happy, why is it so easy for me to do it out there and not as easy to do it at home? And that's not a question that I'm asking, that I'm saying for myself. I'm saying that for everybody to think about, in your relationships. For us, we tend to go out in public, and some people are real raw to the fullest. They don't want, they don't care what you think. But for the most part, we go outside in public. We don't want to see people seeing us upset or mad. I don't know why that is. But you know, you get home and it's just like, you know, your mate's gonna be there. You know that you know, for the most part, you know that you're gonna wake up in the morning, you're still gonna love each other, and this person gonna deal with, you know, your farts. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be real with it, the person is gonna, you know.
Really say that?
But what I'm saying is, like, you know, it's easy to go out away from home, and like Letty says, this is something that she observed for me, is that, you know, I'm outside, I'm happy with everybody, and I'm all excited, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? And then when we have our mishaps, it's like, you know, why don't you treat me like that to myself? What's up, Bo? Why don't you treat me like that, in a sense? And you know, oftentimes what I do is you want to feel like I am like that to you, right? It's like being real. You want to be like, I do treat you good, girl. I treat you hella good. What you talking about? But this other person may be feeling a certain way. They're like, nah, you go out in front of these other people, you treat them hella good, but you come around me and like, it's like, so I don't have the answer to that, but I will say this. For me, knowing that I have a foundation and a place that, you know what I mean, we can go through our stuff, and I know she's still gonna love me. I mean, I hope, right? That's the hope. You know what I mean? That's the hope. You know what I mean? Because there may be a day where she's like, you know what, man, I'm tired of your ish. You got to kick rocks, homie. So I'm just saying, like, it's easier for me to do your dishes than it is to do mine. And I said it to say that, you know, sometimes I really got to take a step back and look at myself and, like, you know, I don't want to be on my deathbed and be like, the one person that really cared, be like, yeah, mother, you know, that's what you get. You know what I mean? I want her to be like, yeah, I want her to love on me until I'm dead, you know what I mean? Until I'm gone. So for me, you know, it could be a challenge sometimes to really, you know, put my best foot forward, even with the one who should get it from me every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me though, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like, you're gonna know how I'm feeling, right? Good, bad, or otherwise. Like, I have a need to share that. You know, what I'm learning to do is Trish, is how I share that, right? Being careful to not hurt anyone with my feelings, right? They're my feelings, and so they are mine to deal with. And I think feelings come from the way that we perceive what's going on in the moment too, right?
Good point.
What it looks like to us, and like I said before, like bringing the past into it, you know. And because we have you know, a past, with a lot of people out there, I don't have a past, right? They don't know the me before I was on substance, right? Or you know, I'm an emotional person. I am, and I don't apologize for that. You know, I feel things around me, the world around me, I feel very deeply, right? And so sometimes it's learning how to manage the feelings. Are they mine? Do they belong to someone else?
Right, yeah.
You know, sometimes I cry, sometimes I, you know, God, can I say this on here? You have resting bee face. Can you say that?
I don't know if that was.
I didn't say the whole word,
right,
but you know, sometimes I don't smile. Sometimes I'm in my own head, you know. Sometimes I'm feeling brilliant and wonderful and life is grand, and you'll see me out there dancing and singing and, you know, and other times I'm just in my head, I'm contemplating, I'm working things out, you know, I'm talking to my God, right?
But also, go ahead, my bad.
I lost it.
Emotions can be a guide, but don't let them master you. You know what I mean? They could be a great guide to have emotions, to be able to, you know what I mean, to help navigate, but not to let them master us, not to let these things overpower what we do on a daily basis.
Because they can lie to us, for real.
You know,
they lie to
and
us.
sometimes feelings lie, especially when fears or insecurity take over. You know, challenge them and look for the future underneath.
Yeah.
And look for the truth underneath. You know what I mean? Look for what it is that, you know, you can gain from this kind of stuff. You know, really. So, you know, use your feelings as fuel. You know, it's not a roadblock, but let them push you forward and not hold you back. You know, you know, being able to use these things as catalysts and not something that holds you back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Let your emotions guide you.
I know. I like to, if I'm feeling fear about a certain situation or a certain person, right? I like to I like to put myself in the middle of that fear so that it doesn't have power over me.
Right.
And then talk about it openly, right? I like to talk to strangers too.
Yeah.
I find it, you know, they if I open up, they open up, you know.
Right.
And even here at home, you know, sometimes I want to like hold on to that because I don't want to be punked. Like this ain't gonna go down like this again.
Right, yeah.
Right. And so I build this like tough shell around me, and and I start to just become very selfish, and it's all about me. The moment I make it about me, I already got a problem.
But again, like with emotions,
So,
I feel like emotions, especially like for males, not just for males, but I think there's some traits that emotions are almost like forbidden in a sense. Like growing up in the hole and Highland Village and where I grew up, it was like having emotions. It was like you gotta tuck those away. You can't show anybody, you know what I mean, that you cry. You can't. It's just something that you didn't do. You know what I mean? For some reason, it was just frowned upon for you to have emotions. And I want to bring this back. I want to say, me and my son, man, this boy is so loving and like, man, this dude gives me about 100 kisses on the lips a day. I love it. You know why? Because he's gonna be it might be tomorrow, but he just decides he doesn't want to give me no love. He don't want to give me them kisses. I'm embracing them. I love those. You know what I mean? But he does it so much. You see how he is. Justin Lee, this little boy's a lover. He just loves to hug and give like lots of love and give you one around the neck. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my daddy. One around the neck. Anybody who knows Raymond Meshnart, give me one around the neck. So, and that's what my son does. You know what I mean? He'll give you a big old squeeze and hug, and he'll give you 100 I love yous a day. Which, and who knows? Some people may think that's a little bit obsessive, but I say it because I mean it. I say that and I show it because I mean that. You know what I mean? Because you never know. And I'm not thinking negatively. I'm just being real. Like, this little boy is so loving and caring that he's constantly reminding me how much he cares about me. He's constantly saying, hey, I love you. He'll put his phone down or put it on what he's doing and say, hey, Dad, I really, really love you. Come on, give me a big old hug and kiss, and it melts me, y'all. It makes me feel fantastic.
I don't think you can say that too much. Maybe for some people, you can. But I like to let people know that I care about them, that I love them, and that always starts with you too. If I'm not giving that to myself, I can't give you what I'm not giving to myself, right? And there are some days I'm not giving it to myself, so you're probably not going to get it from me. But you might, you might. I know a lot of us growing up. For me, it was, sit down, be quiet, don't do that, don't say that, don't act like that, act like this, right? And inside, you're like, but I just want to express myself, and it might be weird, Mom, Dad, but this is how I do it,
Right, yeah.
And so you learn, that's where we learn how to suppress our feelings and wear these masks and pretend to be, something that we're not. And I think this is where, the other emotions come from those feelings of not being able to express yourself. You get angry and
depressed. Like
sad.
Seriously, like I think a lot of the depression I've been feeling lately has been, I don't know if it's been lack of communication on my end or what, but there's been several things that have occurred, and some of them are monetarily, and so I feel like having this whatever it is inside me, like it's made me like depressed feeling, and I think and I haven't been feeling that way lately, and I'm oh my gosh. Listen, I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. Like, I did not have any idea how impactful depression could be. I didn't realize how it makes you feel or think, and like when you feel that. I call it depression because I've never really I just really let you know me 6 years. Have you ever seen me like down and like where I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Right. And so for me, I feel like this was a wave of depression, but also by me sitting with it, I feel like I've been able to, and again, this can be controversial. I feel like I've been able to harness it and not have this be something that's, I haven't felt it in a while. And maybe it's something that's just natural, but I think otherwise. I feel like I have been able to sit with it and understand it a bit and not try to figure it out, but just let it take its course and understand what I can do to defend myself from this. Because if it's something that just happens, being depressed is not fun at all. I mean, it's debilitating. It made me like, I just wanted to clam up, curl up, and just go lay down. And I did not feel good. But I'm saying all of this to say that I have not been feeling that way lately. And I'm excited for the future, because for whatever it's worth, whether that comes back or not, I feel like not having that thing that comes about is, I feel empowered. I feel like I've got the world in my palm, because there's so many things I'm going to do, and like I'm just starting to see how powerful I really, really am, guys. I feel great, but that depression stage or whatever it was, it was a flood of emotions. It was a flood of like strong emotions that I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what to do, and it was depressing. It was very disheartening.
Well,
I
just
felt
remember,
so sad.
we used to run to, you know,
Substance,
substances. We
yeah,
used to run to other
alcohol,
people,
yeah, right,
right?
yeah, right. To get our fix in
Yeah,
a sense, you know what I mean? But
right.
but again, sitting and dealing with this, I just feel like that I'm out of it. It's been,
Mm.
like kind of off and on a little bit here for the
Yeah.
past couple months, but now that I'm not in that space right now, I'm
Mm.
excited because there's so much for me to gain right now. Like
Mm.
there's so much for me. And if anybody who's dealt with depression or anxiety or any other
Mm.
emotional ADHD, there's more of like a learning thing. But I mean like real emotional stuff, like man, I had no idea how powerful this was. I had no idea how
Mm.
debilitating it can be. And to like work through it is like it's difficult because you don't want to do anything else but like
Right.
sit and like think about things and like these
Mm.
or feel things and like and don't get me wrong, emotions are great, feelings are great, especially when you can use them in a positive way and feel
Yeah.
in a positive. But when you have like this weird
Mm.
flood of like
Hmm.
negativity, oh man, the negative side was just like debilitating. I can't really describe it other than like it was like I was down,
Freezing almost.
yeah, and I'm able to be out of that now. So I'm
Mm.
really I'm just want to say for anybody who's dealing with depression or anything like that, like
Sadness.
I can
grief.
understand the pain, And again, I
Yeah.
haven't dealt with it my whole life, but also I've dealt with addiction. I've dealt with substance. I've dealt with
Mm.
alcohol. Doing those, putting those in my body, probably screen or like masked the depression or the things that may have come from being a kid. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
this to say that now that I have an idea of what that that entails as being depressed, like
Mm.
I'm gonna do everything I can not to have that come back. I'm gonna do everything I can to not feel that.
I just think it comes and goes in waves. Like I said, it just depends on, how long we've been masking the things that, are the feelings and emotions that we were having, right? Like
Right.
it comes up and it depends really how long you want to stay in that. We have so many tools available to us, right? There's
Yeah.
breathing, you can pray, you can meditate, you can read, you can talk to somebody, you can go out into nature and just sit with it. Like I said, don't get stuck in it because that's what I used to do. And then I'd be like, all right, this is too uncomfortable. I don't want to feel this. Let me, get out of this by, going and using substance, which just exasperated the
Fuel
problem,
it,
right?
yeah.
It just, then I didn't feel anything. So I wasn't able to release what I was feeling because I masked it. I just kept suppressing it. And I think that's why we have some of these emotions and these feelings, the sadness, the depression, their feelings just want to be felt, right? And there's ways to release those feelings
Right.
in a healthy way,
Yeah. Yeah.
and allow them to pass through you. It's it's and they start with thoughts. So we want to we want to catch our thoughts in the beginning before they start to go into our feelings and bring up emotions and trigger us into
Right. Yeah.
reacting, because
Right,
that's
yeah.
what happens.
Right. Yeah.
You
And so
know?
acknowledging your thoughts, but just don't give
Mm.
them power over your actions.
Right.
Just keep in mind that they're
Yeah.
obviously they're your thoughts, they're your emotions. You know what I mean? But instead of being, reactive, you can be
Mm.
active. You know what I mean? And really take control instead of acting upon, these negative feelings. Take a step back. Justin, my son, is teaching me
Take a
something.
breath.
He does that. You know what? Yesterday was it yesterday? You're riding a bike? It was yesterday. We went and rode around the marina.
Yes.
Oh, let me talk on this real quick, y'all. Can I speak on this?
Sure thing.
Man, this little boy rode the
for
bike
it.
around the marina, 1.2 miles.
Wow.
Okay, first time on a
The
marina.
entire
And listen,
thing?
as we're going, I'm telling people, first time on a bike. He's like, it's not the first time, it's my third time. He corrected me like so many times, made me out to be a liar. I'm like, okay, bet. So as we're riding, this little boy, oh my God, his heart is just so big, and he kept pushing, and just the reaction on his face and how far he was pushing, his emotions were just, he was so excited to be riding this bike. We rode around the whole marina here in Reno. It was a 1.2 mile ride, and this little kid, first time on a bike, scared, happy, he was up and down. Well, I'll tell you what, but overall, he was super excited, and he didn't let his his feelings overrule. He just rolled with it and just made sure that, because again, he had a good trainer with him. I'm training him like, he failed a couple times, and the one time he failed, he cried, and he was like, he went straight to blaming me. He's like, why didn't you hold me? Why didn't you do it? And I was like, come here, dude. Let me hug you. And you know, I embraced it. I let him, you know, cry. He was crying a little hard. All his tears all over his white shirt. He wasn't like he was physically a little bit hurt. He didn't get bleed or nothing like that. But his little emotions, you know, he's like, I think it was more like, you said you were going to keep me from falling, and you didn't. You know what I mean? And we went around the whole marina. We already went around the whole marina. Didn't crash. I think he hit the fence one time. Boop, boop, hit his knuckles, but just toughed it out. But, you know, his emotions, like this kid was so full of emotions. And it was just me being there with him and coaching him through this. It was like he knew I had his back. And I'm telling you, before we went to go ride the bike, he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go on. He had his little helmet with the mohawk. Yeah. And we're riding past people, and I'm like, first time on a bike, and he's like, it's my third time. I'm like, all right, that's cool, awesome. Man, bet. So it was really cool because he has this solid way of thinking and being, and I love it. He's teaching me so much about, like, he teaches me stuff, and he's like, so after a couple times, so the first time I'm like bragging for him, you know, he's on his bike and he's pedaling along people, and I'm seeing people's reaction like, oh, I remember when my kid was that age, you know, I'm just, and so. But after about 3 times of telling this kid, telling him, hey, this is his first time on a bike, let's go. And he said, it's my 3rd time. It's not my first time. Stop telling him that. And so I started saying, it's his 3rd time riding a bike. And so, and then he was happy. This dude was happy because he loves honesty. He loves honesty. And I'm saying that's something I hold very high in regards to, you know, character, personality, the things that you have in life. And I tell him, if you aren't lying, you're going to never be in trouble with me. Like, for real. Like, if you tell me the truth always, you ain't never going to be in trouble. And I love the fact that he can be honest as Letty. And I say honest as Letty because Letty will tell you straight up. Letty will be as honest as all. Even if it's something that will embarrass the hell out of her, she will still be straight up. She's had her moments, but she will be honest. And so this little boy has great coaches, great teachers to learn from. And so my thing is, if you don't lie, I said, man, you don't ever let anybody make you feel like you got to lie about anything. If you don't want to tell somebody ask you something, just don't talk. Just don't tell them. You know what I mean? So again, like this little boy and his emotions on how he is, he's teaching me things. And I'm learning from him. He's 6 years old. And I'm constantly learning from this kid and how he's developed and what we've taught him that he's able to take into the world and make it his and bring it back. And I'm like, wow. You know how you guys, when you're a proud parent, you're like, I taught my kid that. And then here they are teaching you, like, wow. Because that's what really makes a coach happy. That's what really makes a parent or a teacher happy is when they see their mentee go do what they trained them to do and come back like, you really were listening. You really were listening. Right. And that's amazing. It's a great feeling, y'all. It's a fantastic feeling. So before we went to go ride the bike, Justin was like, no, I don't really want to. And I didn't force him. I was like, man, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And I told him, I said, if you go around this whole thing, I'll give you $100. But I said, you got to ride the bike by yourself.
Shoot,
but I said,
I'll do it.
If we go if we go around the marina and I coach you and help you, I'll get you some ice cream. And if you guys know, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but I don't really give Justin too much sugar. I hardly ever do. And I'm big on brushing his teeth, but I hardly ever give him sugar. But that's what makes them cool because she does. I just don't because I'm not a bad dad. I'm not trying to be that too strict of a dad. I just want him to know like sugar is not the best thing for you. In fact, it's probably one of the worst things for you to put in your body. But when we got done with the marina, I got him some ice cream, and I'm pretty proud of that because you know what? He did a good job, and we had a lot of fun. And it was a proud dad moment because this little kid's booking it. He's like, you know what I mean? You got to see your kid. You guys have, I'm sure many of us have kids on here. And if you've seen your kid ride a bike, you teach them to ride a bike, it's like, there's no going back. You always know how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I love that. Like it's, you know, shoot, I had a thought, you guys, and then it went out. I know. I was trying to like find the right moment to like
sometimes
interrupt.
My bad.
You know?
I'm sorry. My
And
bad. It was about
it came in
riding
and
a
then
bike
it
and
went out.
how,
And,
you know, being a kid.
I mean, you know, just your kids, like you know, I have 5 of them, you know, and they've taught me so much. You know, sometimes you play different roles, you know, as a parent. Sometimes you're the kid. Sometimes, you know, you're the parent. You know, sometimes you're the role model. Sometimes you're the villain. Sometimes you're the toxic person.
Or even the friend. You know what I mean?
Or even
somebody
the friend.
they can count on to be something to listen to.
Absolutely. And, you know, I like I said, I was going somewhere.
She
with
was,
this,
but then she left it where it's at. So I'm gonna pick the baton
why
up.
don't
You know
you
what
do
I'm saying?
that?
So
I appreciate that.
you know, they
That's
again,
what
they
it
could be a
is.
guy's feelings, but I don't let personal I try not to have my feelings, you know, be the forefront of my actions. I really don't like to lead with emotions a lot of times. But don't get me wrong, there's time and place for it for me, which I wish it could be all the time, me being emotional. But so there's times we got to be guarded, you know, and not necessarily in a bad way. You know, you're not going to go out and put yourself out to the people that you don't know that could potentially hurt your feelings. Okay. So again, like with little Justin, like I asked him today, I said, man, what is it going to take to get you on the podcast? Because this little kid does not want to come up here, y'all. And it's
Really?
okay. Yeah, he doesn't. I was like, man, I'll give you some candy.
Oh.
And he said, I want some Robux. Robux is money from Roblox. Roblox. He wants some Robux. I said, all right, let's do it. And he said, and then once he said, nah, I don't want them. And so, and I'm cool with that because, you know, I'm not going to force him to come up here and do this, especially if he doesn't want to. So his emotions are his. And for whatever reason, like there's sometimes where he's cool with it. And I'll put the camera in his face and he's like, yeah, hey, everybody, what's up?
Really well.
Yeah. And then sometimes he doesn't. I don't ever want to feel like I'm forcing anything on this little boy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you don't ever want to force your feelings on anybody else. You know, like we've discussed, they are yours, but you want to find a safe person or a group that you can, you know, talk about those with.
Right. Yeah. He's 6. You know what I mean? He's 6.
Yeah, but he's really articulate. He does really well, you know, at expressing his feelings. And you know, and that's because we don't walk around telling him, well, not all the time. I mean, I do sometimes say, shh, don't do that.
What are we talking about?
Behave like that.
What are we talking about? We are talking about feelings. If their feelings are messengers, or or
facts,
or
messengers, or are they something more?
Yes. And so we're going over just discussing how, you know, emotions sometimes can, you know, rule your forefront or the frontal lobe, or like how, you know, reacting to things or being emotional can sometimes, you know, get you into trouble, or on the opposite, get you out of trouble, you know what I mean? Or just be something that you can lean on your emotions. Because again, growing up in the hole, my Aunt Mona knows that for the gentlemen, for the guys, for the men, for the males, it was like, you know, there was no crying without feeling like somebody's gonna make fun of you. And I'm not saying everybody.
Even for us girls, it was that way, right? At least in the neighborhood I grew up in. Like I said, you know, I was told like, God, you're so sensitive. Don't be such a crybaby. And, you know, and so that's what caused me to build this like tough exterior and not want to show emotion, right? I would go by myself, which was unhealthy because I'd get stuck in my head with those really strong emotions and felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to, right? So I just built this wall around myself and kept people at a distance. For me, I would use anger as a way to keep from crying or keep from, you know, having to be vulnerable or show, you know, emotion, and it would keep people away from me. But it also kept, you know, the good things in life away from me too. And so, you know, I think it's learning how to manage your emotions and understand where these feelings are coming from. What is it because somebody said something to you in the past, a parent, a teacher, a coworker, you know, your siblings, you know how we like to tease each other, you know? I know for me, you know, growing up, my brother used to say I was adopted.
No.
He did. I love you, bro. You know I love you.
Yeah, I know you're
but
watching.
I looked different from them. So I remember going to my mom and saying, hey, Mom, am I adopted? And she's like, no, you're not. And he's like, yes, she found you on the doorstep.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, man, that's messed up. Or another time, he used to tease me about my toes. And do you know that when I got married, can I say this?
Yeah, as long as you ain't cussing.
When I was being intimate, I used to keep my socks on for like a long time because that voice still played in my head. And then one day I was like, I like my toes.
I like,
you know what? Yeah, I don't care if you don't like
them. She got a little one that does that.
I put up gang signs.
Her
with my toes.
Be throwing up some gang signs, y'all doing this move.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm learning, right? But the point is that I got over that. I started to face a lot of those voices in my head and question them, like, where did that come from? Is that true? Just because somebody said it, does it make it true?
That's again like one of the
if you make it true for you, it's going to affect you. Like I said, the moment you make it about yourself, you're already in trouble. It's going to affect you. And so I like to put myself, you know, in the path of fear so that I can take the power away from it, right? And laughing at yourself. Like I wouldn't have been able to do this, 3 years ago, I would not have been able to.
No.
I would have been offended. I would have gotten upset, and I would have been reactive and emotional.
That is true. No, it is. And
Okay.
just because they're your emotions or your feelings
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're truth. They may be your truth, but just because they're yours,
Mm,
and I think a lot of times I've seen in my
mm,
past people mistake that, you know what I mean, their truth is my truth, and that's not always the case.
mm,
You know what I mean? Just because they're your emotions, which they're your emotions, they're yours. That's yours for sure. Ain't nobody gonna change your
right.
feelings or yours no matter what. But
Mm-hmm.
just because your emotions are yours and
Mm,
that's how you feel doesn't make it my truth. You know what I mean? So I think that's something I want to put out there too. Is like
mm,
just because you have a feeling or an emotion doesn't make it truth. Doesn't make it my truth. You know what I mean? So we can go and headbutt about something that your emotions and my emotions, but really like mine are mine, yours are yours. So
mm,
if you're capable of making, being able to find some solid ground, like
mm.
you can communicate with anybody. I feel, you know what I
You
mean?
can.
And so, Matt Mona said like this: did you ever have stress dreams, lady?
Oh,
I know I did when I tried to suppress my feelings.
yes.
Ooh wee, good
Oh, you know what
question.
I've been
Good question.
dreaming a lot lately? It's been freaking me out a little bit. Is like I'm driving in a car and like I almost hit a brick wall. And I wake up and I have that feeling, that feeling of like when
You're
you almost
falling.
have impact, but I
Right.
wake up before I actually see it happen. So that, yeah, that's been like
Mm.
happening to me. I don't know what
Then
that's
that may be
all
from
about
stress.
yet.
She said, "Did you ever have stress dreams,
That's what I
lady?"
think that
I
is
no
from.
idea when I tried to suppress my feelings. And
Yeah.
again, so when you say suppress your feelings, Mona, does
Hmm.
that mean like
Not talk
suppressing your
about
feeling,
them.
like not having anybody to communicate, or just not communicating yourself? Like, what do you mean with suppressing your feelings? Because a lot of the stuff I'm really getting an understanding for too.
Or I think, I don't know, let's have her tell us what she means, but I know what
I
that
would love
meant
to pull
for
that Mona
me.
up right now. We
I
should get
know
that
what
Mona
that
on
meant
here.
for me
Hey, Mona, you want to jump on or not?
was suppressing it, right? It was not talking about it, was just sitting it with it, letting it like fester inside of myself, and not talking to anybody about what I'm feeling, but then telling myself a story about the feelings that I was feeling, based on things that happened to me in the past. So I would tell myself this whole narrative, you know, um, because I wasn't able to tell the person I was feeling
Okay,
something
she said
about.
no. Okay,
No?
sorry. When I figured I'd have to
Anyway.
ask anyway.
Oh,
You was the first person to ever ask that.
oh,
My bad to interrupt
yeah.
you. But I asked
Anyway,
Aunt Mona if she wanted to jump on.
and she said,
And she
nope.
said, I ain't
And
ready for it
that's
right now.
okay.
It's
She
okay.
don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
No, it was a very, very short notice. But
Yeah.
again, like, so with the stress dreams, I knew that was
Have
a
you?
thing. I have,
You know,
I'll tell you one
I
thing. I'll
can
tell you straight up.
say,
I had,
I can say I've heard you sometimes at night where you're like yelling. You're
I don't
sleeping,
remember hardly any
and
of my
you're
dreams.
yeah, but you're like,
Upset,
you're
probably.
not yelling because you're upset, but more like a gosh,
Bear
I'm
with
trying
us.
to
She's
think.
gonna tell you my deep emotional distraught when I'm
Oh,
sleeping.
no, no,
I was
no.
just kidding.
It's
I'm
not
cool with that. I
bad.
don't
It's
care.
just like where you're almost screaming for help. Or out loud. Like I don't want to do it on here,
Right, right.
but I've heard that, and and I'm not sure if I should like interrupt you or
Yeah,
if I
kick me in the
should,
ribs, dude. Like, man, wake up, little.
what I should do. But I think that's, I think that things work out in our dreams. That our
Do
subconscious is.
I don't
I
remember
do.
them too much, and
I
I would
do.
like to. And there's got to be a way to do it.
I
But
didn't when I used substance. I well, because I didn't sleep, but even when I did, I didn't remember my dreams, and I've remembered a lot of them. Like I said, I keep a little notepad by
right,
my bed, and so if I wake up and I remember a dream, I like to write it down. I don't know.
mm,
I think answers come
right,
to our
yeah.
subconscious while we're sleeping, and sometimes I even like to write down a problem or an issue that I'm having, and then put it under my pillow, pray, and ask God to help me,
That's the
right,
way to do it.
with that.
That's
Like,
the way
show
to
me
do it.
the answer.
Yes.
You know.
Aunt Mona says, my family hurts me a lot because they don't
Mm.
understand me, which is totally understandable. And then she said, I've grown a lot
Oh
and
yeah.
matured. I think I'm better than them, but
Mm.
I never forget where I come from. See, that's valuable to me.
Right.
That's like, and a lot of people probably have that, a very similar, structure with their family, or not structure, but like,
Dynamic.
dynamic with their
Mm.
family, to where it's like, just because I'm doing good now doesn't mean I forgot where I came from, right, Aunt Mona? Just because I didn't
Mm.
change my life, and I'm not saying y'all haven't, but I'm saying, like,
That's
I'm
just
not
fair.
stuck in like
Yeah.
just mundane everyday, like,
Mm.
constantly being negative, or, and
Yeah.
again, this ain't on nobody specifically. I'm just saying in general, I know that feeling, because it seems like when you start doing better, people tend to look at you as if you feel like you're better than them. And that's something I've just noticed.
I don't always.
I'm just saying, like,
I
that's
think,
my experience.
Yeah, I think at times that is, but I think it's also a fear, right? And I can speak from experience for me, a fear that, oh my God, I'm going to get left behind. Like they're getting better, and if you're not, that can cause fear, right? Or jealousy, and you can feel a type of way about it. That's where I think, your feelings are your feelings, right? And I want to see people win, right? That doesn't mean that sometimes I'm not like, what about me?
Right, yeah.
Right. And then I snap out of it and I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not stuck. I can, if I want to change or I want to move, I can move. I don't have to stay, where I'm at. And so, we applaud you, Aunt Mona.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you've grown a lot, because that's what this life is about. It's about growth and, maturity and, mastering the things that have held us back in our life, right? Practice makes perfect, and I know we're,
I ain't perfect.
I'm not
perfect.
perfect.
I don't even hope I'm never perfect.
That was
whatever that
too
means.
hard to try, to keep up with.
I
will
mishaps.
take progress over
mistakes,
perfection
Terry
any
Ho.
day.
Terry
hi,
Ho's in the
Terry.
building. What's happening with you, Terry?
Love you,
Welcome
brother.
in.
Yeah.
We're on 3 different platforms right now. We got Facebook. We're on 3, and we're just trying things out, y'all. We have a special guest coming on Friday. Hopefully, this person's able to make it. I'm not going to say specifically who.
Yeah.
But
surprise.
There's a special guest coming up. This will be guest number 2 for us.
Yeah.
And so, really, we're branching out. We've been doing this. This is what episode is this?
28.
28. We're getting up there. So this is what, 3 months we've been doing it?
Yes.
So 3 months we've been doing it. And again, we're branching out. We're getting, a little bit more, traction. And so I just want to say this, that I have personally been working on some things in the background. And one of the things I've been working on is called Biz Success Academy. And right now we have a platform on School. If you guys never heard of it, it's SKOOL. And I have a phenomenal family. Like I've never had, and I'm saying never because I mean that. Like I've never had people pour into me like they are right now within this community. And so, what's up, Tiffany Melnick? What's up? And so right now on School, it's a platform, and I have a phenomenal group of people who have allowed me to be part of this space and said, look, man, we see your energy. We want you to come in here and be part of this because we're going to make it big. So from the ground up, it's literally been 1 month that we started, and we're growing. And so inside here on the live from my page, I dropped the link, and right now we're releasing as of today, we're releasing our own chatbots. Meaning, so you have ChatGPT, you have AI. Well, this chatbot is structured and it's tailored to me and my business. So meaning it's going to have all the information that I need. That it's already tailored to what I'm doing. And so this was released just today. So it's $1 for life. If you get in right now, it's $1 for life. So go and support yourself by getting in there first, So if you're looking to monetize your social media and start turning your content into cash, I got something just for you guys. Through the Biz Success Academy and School, I'm offering a 6-pack social media monetized guide that breaks down proven strategies and platform hacks, whether you're on TikTok, Facebook, Threads, Lemonade, and more. These guys give you exact steps to start making money from your content. It's only $7.
Did we put that link?
With value? Yes, I put it here. I think she put it here, but I don't think she put it on hers, which is cool. Either way, this is the very first time that we put this up here, and we're literally giving you guys value. So go in, check this out. This is actually something that you guys can start doing on your own. And even if you're not savvy with the computer, I got people who's helping me out that I'm like, and going into the Biz Success Academy will help you. It's $1 right now. Y'all can't miss out on it. This is something that's going right now, and it's popping. So get in there, Biz Success Academy. Again, it's been a month for me, and I've grown so much. So how you feeling?
How am I feeling? I feel pretty good. I'm just listening to it. Terry says, I love y'all too. Blah,
wow.
What's going on? What's going on? Gosh.
Woo!
Life is good.
Life is
Terry.
happening, y'all.
It is good. Even when it's not, it's
and
good.
And Mona says, I will be a guest one day when I have some makeup.
Hey,
they got the, all you got to do is put the filters on. You don't have to do no makeup anymore.
Shoot,
Mona.
did we do that here?
And don't look like I just woke up. Y'all make me smile. They do. Hey, listen, my friend Renee, she had took a picture of us one time. Not too long ago. Remember that? Check this out, y'all. I'm gonna say something. She had took a photo of us, and I wasn't smiling. I had this weird look on my face. You know what I'm saying? And so she went in, and each face she was able to put a smile on me, and then put a smile on this person. Remember? Each one make the picture look dope. I was like, man, I am not that savvy with technology, but I'm getting there.
I've done it.
But I am getting there, y'all. So we don't have anybody over here on this one.
That's okay.
No, it's cool. I mean,
You know.
Again, so a lot of people don't catch us on the live. So for anybody who's seeing this after the fact, you know, again, this is something that we're polishing at. We're doing better at. I think every time we get up here, we're getting better and better at this. Definitely. This episode, you know, was a little bit rough. It was a little bit rough, but hey, we still get up here and do our thing and have fun with it. You know, we have fun with it.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we're us. You know, we're really getting this dialed in to where we can get this all figured out. There's going to be a point where we have all this all on one screen. You know what I mean? If you guys can see what we see right now, we got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 screens up here doing big moves. But, you know, we paid for this, and we're looking to get more depth on what it is that we need to be doing. So,
yeah, I really, our goal is to just open up conversation, you know, with our community, with our world, right? I'm on the humanity side, you know.
I'm on the communication and the connective side of the world. I really like to interact with people, make people laugh and smile, and I like to laugh myself. I love laughing. I enjoy having tell me a funny joke, man. Let me hear something super funny, because I am not the best at cracking jokes, but I can make people laugh.
You're pretty good.
You know what I mean?
You make me laugh. Yeah.
But I like to have fun. I like enjoying life. And so that's why we get up here do this.
Yeah.
You know, we're dedicated for real to this.
Yeah.
We are. You know what I mean? Like whatever we're doing, we're gonna stop doing what we're doing. We're gonna make sure we give the time to do this, because it's important. And we've been getting so much feedback lately. Like, you know what I mean? By us showing up, I've had at least 4 people this week that have told me something similar to the, you know, that you have no idea how much it's helped me. And somebody else saying, like, man, I don't think you understand how many lives you're impacting. And I've had people saying, man, keep doing what you're doing. And if you guys are listening, you know who you are. You know what I mean? And so, but again, I'm showing it for myself too. Letty was wearing this today, and I was like, that's what you're, so I was like, I'm gonna match her with this. I'm gonna match her. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna match her. You know what I mean? So, and again, it's just, well, I like to match her, because I got so many different suits, and I got every sort of color.
Yeah, I gotta
rainbow,
go shopping.
You know what I mean? So I like to match her. We like to feel good. So getting up here doing this, we're being consistent. You know what I mean? So again, I dropped a link here of mine. If anybody's interested, if you're hearing this after the fact or if it's live, I am involved with something that's going to be major. And I know this because the people who are behind it are millionaires, and they have already been successful, and they see the energy in me, and they're like, and I told myself this all last year. I said, I cannot wait to the person who sees the potential in me just to snatch me up and see what we got. You know what I mean? And that person has found me. And again, this in the past few months, we've been around Master P and Sensei Spectacular, and you know, there's so many, and it's not about like being the glitz and the glam. It's not, but it's about, if I can live that laptop life for a while just to see what that's like. I would love to be home working from here. I want to be at home working. I don't want to go out and work with robotics. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's a good thing to say I have a robotics degree, but personally for me, I want to be able to stay home and work. I want to use my brain, not my back. You know what I mean? I would rather get value for what I create and have and help people, you know, to motivate themselves, or whatever the case is. If I was to get paid for my product as opposed to I don't want to get work for hours. I don't want to work hourly. And guess what, you guys? Now is the time. We're in that era where we can actually work for what we can produce, and like the things that we're able to add as far as value, instead of going out and work hourly. I think my time is worth $2 million a year. How do you guys feel? Does anybody feel like your time is worth a whole lot more, or are we so programmed that that's just kind of how we're living? You know, because I'm gonna say this right now, that where I'm at right now, like there was a point not too long ago where I was like ready to just kind of throw in the towel. And but that was before I even got started. I didn't even get started, and I'm like man, this stuff is too hard. The EMS driver got the tires in an ice chest on ice. Wait. The EMS driver got the tires in an ice chest on ice and was transporting him to the hospital. Wait. You know one of the strangest calls? Oh, okay. You know, one of the strangest calls I got was one guy was working construction, and he
he had steel tires,
steel toed boots. His boot got crushed. And
and a lot of
one of his toes were cut off. Ooh. The EMS driver got the tires, got the toes on ice got an ice chest on ice,
And
and was
so he
transporting
took his
him to the
toes with
hospital.
him. Yeah.
Toes, yes, yes, okay,
Oh,
gotcha. Okay, that's crazy. So,
yikes.
and this would be great to have Mona on at some point to say,
Yeah.
here's what I've experienced.
Yeah.
And just recently we had a family member, I don't know if you could say this, but unlife himself because he was an EMT, and he just, for some reason, I guess,
Mm.
being in that field and seeing so much traumatic stuff, he couldn't deal with it anymore. He had kids and he had a family, and
Mm.
so, and it was really sad because he was a really good person, and but he was a paramedic, and the things that you probably see in that life, man, I'm sure it's got to be difficult. I actually
Yeah.
seen an accident one time, and it was like, I'll never forget that. I'll
Mm.
never forget that. I almost wanted to unsee it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had bad dreams about that for a while. You know what I mean? It was
Mm.
like, wow, but
But
life.
this is why it's so important, right? To deal with these emotions and not just suppress them and act like you're not having them,
Should I call
you
it
know?
a tow truck?
Oh,
Okay. I don't know if that's funny. Yeah, it is funny to me,
it is
but I get it.
funny.
I get it.
I'm laughing.
I don't
So,
know, this poor person with his little
no,
toes. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah,
Oh,
these ladies got her toes. You know what I'm saying? She got the toe
exactly.
like that.
Right?
She got her
It's
toe
okay.
throwing up gang
It is what
signs.
it
I was
is.
just kidding.
At least I got them. All
Justin, it's
10.
funny, we're talking about toe. Justin got, it's crazy how genetics work because I have
Mm.
had a little tiny piece of ingrown toenail on my pinky, and Justin has the
Has
same
the same.
thing, and
Yeah.
athlete's foot. His kid has athlete's foot the same place I do, and I know
So,
that's kind of revealing, but
yeah.
this little boy is like genetic. It's so crazy how much this kid is like me in every
Yeah.
single way. You know what I mean? So shout
Yeah.
out to God. Thank you, God.
Yes.
Praise
We
what
love
you
you,
do.
God.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
This little boy, when he prays, y'all, let me say, he prays.
Mm.
He's like, oh my gosh, huh? And he's something cute.
Yeah.
Thank you, God, for the blankets. I don't know why he's always licking his lip
I
because he
don't
wants to
know.
make sure his lips are juicy when he's
Who
talking to
knows?
God, I
I
guess.
don't know.
Dear God, and thank you for the blankets. Thank you for the carpet so that we can walk on the carpet
Yeah.
and not have our feet cold. And it's just, this
Yeah.
kid will melt
It's
you.
the little things.
Yeah,
It
love it.
really
Yeah.
is. God
Right.
cares about all of that, I think, anyways. For at least mine does.
Yeah.
He cares about all of that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And he's here to help us with our emotions and our feelings, and he gave them to us. We were created with them,
Yeah.
right? And that's a way I like to go to God in prayer and meditation, and even talking to other people. I see God in other people and in nature, in everything I
He
do,
is in everything.
right?
It is in
For
everything.
me,
God is in
yes,
everything.
it's an energy.
So
It is whatever it is to you. I mean, it goes, in my experience, goes by many names. I've researched a lot of different things, and I have found God in all of those things. And so, that's helped me on my journey to discover what my feelings are now that I don't have to hurt myself with substances. I can really get in touch with, who I am, who I was created to be, who he made me to be. What does he want me to do? Not what I want to do, because what I wanted to do, led me down a rough road, and God has been there the entire time, my whole life. I can look back and see now where, he sent people, he sent help, he sent, redirection, and helped course correct me every single time. And so, and he can do that for you too.
and I don't know enough about the Bible to understand much, but I do feel like
You don't
God
have
made
to.
me.
Yeah.
God put me in this vessel. God allowed me, and so I feel like the signs are there. I am driving this. As far as I know, I am in control. And God said, "Hey, listen, if you're whatever you're gonna be whatever you're gonna be. You know what I mean? You're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. You have the free will to do whatever you want. I can't make you love me. You know what I mean? I can take you to the water, but I can't make
No,
you
but
drink
we
it."
can ask. But we can ask, and I do.
Right.
Right? Because again, my thinking was skewed, and I'm only speaking for myself, right? My thinking was skewed, and we can get puffed up with pride and ego. Like, well, what do we say? Your ego is not your amigo.
Boom.
Or
Get
it
it.
can be. I mean, you have to gauge. That's where other people come in. That's where getting in touch with your higher power comes in. Talking to whatever that is for you. For me, that's God, right?
Right.
And asking, like, where doing a really serious self-assessment, a serious self-reflection. But then again, sometimes we can lie to ourselves. We can think we're okay, and I think that's where other people come in, asking them, you know what do you say I'm like? What do you see this in me? What do you see in me? And being able to handle, what is given to you. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means maybe there, it depends on, again, how you look at it. You're gonna take things in with the lenses that you have on, right? So fix your lenses. Start looking at it not as a bad thing, but as a good thing, and that will help push you forward. Not push you. I don't even like to use that word, push.
Motivate you to
Push
do,
it. No,
yeah,
anyway,
motivate you to do better.
but yeah, motivate you. I don't even know about motivate you, but just
She has to
help
get her
you
words
along.
right, you know what I'm saying? She has to get her words
I
right.
like to be careful with my words. I don't want to just,
Man, why do you care what your words?
oh, well, there are times
I'm just
that
kidding.
I hear about
No,
my words.
you are very, you
You
actually are
know.
very meticulous with what
Yeah.
you say a lot of times.
Yeah.
Sometimes with me, I feel like me and her, and I guess we were talking about earlier, with our emotions, again, the topic of the day is, is being able to really harness those harsh, emotions that can hurt somebody,
Yeah.
and taking a step back, because again, Letty's probably not like this to the people at the group where she's at. I'm not like this with the, like this meaning, I'm not so, easy to fire off or say, get upset. You're more, why is it you guys think that you're so much more calm around people that don't know you or that you don't know than it is with somebody who should potentially deserve to get the best part of you? You know what I mean? So again, we're talking about today because there are certain emotions that run through me that can throw me off of my game, that can really make me and show my vulnerability in a bad way. I don't want to be put out there like that.
I think sometimes I know where to hit you, right? Where it hurts. If I'm hurting or I'm feeling a certain type of way about something you've said or done or didn't do, right? And I'm playing these old tapes in my head. Oh my God, that behavior looks like something that bad that happened before. And so before he can hurt me, I'm going to hurt him. Or if you've already hurt me, right, I'm going to jab that sensitive spot.
Right.
At least that's
and that's probably a lot like that for a
me.
lot of people. You know what I mean? In a sense, not necessarily just like that, but I bet a lot of people have that same kind of mentality of like, I better lash out before they do, or I better get the last laugh first. You know.
But this is where you get to learn, right, to work through that instead of, because I've heard it said, right, hurting people hurt people, but healing people heal people too. And we're not perfect. I'm not here to be perfect. I've tried that already. It sucked. I'm here to work out whatever it is I need to work out, on my journey so that I can, get to live the life of my dreams. For me, I want inner peace.
Here's a question. So what does the life of your dreams look like? And for anybody out there too, just think about, what does your life, what does your dream life look like? Like overall, like be specific. Like for me, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that was specific.
What was it?
I said I want inner peace.
Inner peace, okay.
Inner peace. I want to be happy in my own skin, right? I've worked so hard for other people and making the outside shiny and trying to get people to like me and, people pleasing and climbing up the corporate ladder and having nice things, right? I want to be happy with who I am and be okay in the skin that I'm in. That's of the utmost importance to me. That's what I want. And I want to be able to help other people achieve that too, right? Because you can have all this stuff and just feel empty inside. I did, right? And I didn't necessarily enjoy it because of how I felt inside. It was like, okay, that wasn't enough. I got that, but now I need more, and now I need more, and now, and it didn't fill that void inside of me, and once I reconnected with God again and gave up substance and, started on my spiritual journey, with a personal relationship with God, allowing him all the way in, not just part of the way like I did before, like, all right, God, that's cool. You can only come this far. Right. And I got it from here.
Being lukewarm,
I'll take over.
is,
and so for me, that is, having my spiritual life match up with my emotional life and, the physical. That's what I want.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
Fair enough. For some reason, I've often thought about, for me, it's leaving a legacy. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't know why. Like I want to, and I've thought about this for years. Let me just be straight up. Like when my dad died, when my dad Raymond died, I thought how many people were at his funeral, and I was like, for some reason, it just stuck in my head. Like, dang, my dad was loved by so many people, like so many people. The whole Palm, it was called Palm Mortuary, was full. I don't know if Aunt Mona was there or not. She might have already been out of town. But when my dad Raymond passed away, it was the whole place was packed, and people were like, you know what I mean? Like they had so much good things to say about my dad, and it set the tone for me of like how I want to be remembered. You know what I mean? I want my funeral to be filled with people that are saying, man, you had a really, really fantastic dad. Like, you know, people just, and it's not just because we know, you know, when you're at a funeral, typically people are saying good things. And they want to, you know, you want to be positive, but it was like people like genuinely, you know, like we're like, wow, he's going to be really, really missed. You know what I mean? And so that memory of that has been stuck in my head of like, that's what I want to leave. And I'm not living life to remember how I'm going to be when I'm dead. I'm living my life right now to leave an impact again. And seeing me and Justin after as he was riding his bike, I had to take a breath because I jogged 1.2 miles. This little kid's on a bike just going at it. And so we sat in the grass and I filmed us and I was like, how you feeling about that? But he's like, oh, I loved it. I loved it. This is so awesome. Thank you, Dad. He was thanking me for pushing him to want to do this. I said, you're going to love it, son, when we go. Because he wanted, you know, coming to ride the bike. He didn't want to ride the bike at first. He's like, you know, are you
I'm just saying we should
okay, we'll wrap it up. Okay. Anyways, we love you guys. Thank you for being a part of this. We know we went a little bit over, and we don't really have a time set. You know what I mean? We're just going until we go. So I'm living it. Aunt Mona says, I'm living it. I have a wonderful husband, and I'm happy in life. And I just want to grow old with my man that I love.
That's so
that
sweet.
Love me. Yes, let's
I love
go.
that.
See,
it's the
that's
simple
what it's
things.
about. You know what I mean?
And it really is.
And my dad was great. He was a great person. So, you know, and I also want to leave a legacy. I want to be able to leave an impact, you know. So, again, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Just Like Us. You know, there's going to be a point where we're going to really start bringing guests on, and some of these guests maybe you're very successful. Some of these people may be still living the addict life. So I mean, we're going to give, you know, anybody, well, not anybody, we're going to give opportunities for people to come on here. And so Mona, you're one of those people. If you ever want to jump on us and say hello, you know, I think we're going to start inviting more guests, and we're going to get a different setup. I want to say here soon. We have the mics, we have everything. We just need to get these all set up. So again, you know, stay tuned for, you know, the podcast upcoming, and we love you guys so very much. Anything you want to say?
Just, I love you guys. Thank you for all your support. You all know who you are on here, and thank you for joining us and supporting us. We love you.
Love you guys. Yay. Until next time, we'll see you then. Peace.
Oops. Oh no. Anyways, they're saying all that. It's fine.
Saying all what?
Because I was still on, whatchamacallit there, live, but it ended, right? Okay, watch out.
I think it's still going.
Or no? No, I don't.
It's still going.
So. Is it? No. Oh,
there it goes.
Oh, well.